Hello, so here's my video analysis on Next Generation Science Storylines. So that was the name of the project. It was the Next Generation Science Storylines, or sometimes they just shortened it to Science Storylines. So here's a couple links and information about that. I put a link to the video, their website. The lead presenter was Brian Reiser, but they also recognize an entire team on their website, so you can view that through the link provided, and then there's their email. So a summary of what the video had talked about was that this is something that focuses on instruction, where science instruction is organized in a linear pattern. So they called that their storyline approach. So what that meant was that the students ask their own questions to drive their work in science, and it's kind of a learning pathway that they have. The goal is that the students are not able to just find one answer or plug in a formula to get them to a certain point in their learning, but the goal is that students would be able to explain a phenomenon or explain how they solved a problem or what steps they took to get there. So kind of an engineering design idea that they have. In the video, there were teachers that were interviewed, and one had said that the teacher is not the holder of all the information. The teacher and the students work together. And then another teacher interviewed in the video also discussed how she used to use her science curriculum and those textbooks as a step-by-step instruction of, okay, this is where we're at right now, and this is where I need to get my students to be. But since she has implemented science storylines, her view has changed, and now she's let go of her control and has given that to the students because they're the ones who are kind of driving their own instruction based on the questions that they ask for that concept. And then she had also said that her students are now so excited to be in class because they're the ones that are owning their own learning process. So if you haven't gathered, the student-generated questions help them to learn the real science content, and they had even noted that they see small changes in their science instruction have a vast difference. So after I researched this a little bit further, I found a lot of really awesome information on it. There's a quote that I wanted to share that I found on their website. It's right on their homepage, and it said, "On any given day, a classroom visitor should be able to walk over to a group of students and ask them, 'What are you working on?' Why are you working on this?" Students should be able to answer by explaining a question they're trying to figure out or a problem they're trying to solve, and not just say, "Because the teacher told us to do this." And I felt like this was really powerful because this is something that I think we all can agree on, and this is something that we're all striving for. So what they're working on is to that's the end goal that they have as well. So they just define storyline as a coherent sequence of lessons, that their students are co-constructing the questions that they're working on versus being told to do something. They're just following directions. They're just reading the current chapter in the science textbook. They're part of their own learning. The student goal I had explained was that they want to not just have an answer to a question, but to find a way to explain a phenomenon or solve a problem. The students are working through engineering practices to solve these certain problems. There's another quote that I wanted to share. "A storyline provides a coherent path toward building disciplinary core idea and cross-cutting concepts piece by piece, anchored in students' own questions." And I also felt like that was something powerful, trying to get their point across to what their end goal is. On their website also, there was a lot of resources that they provided. So there's some resources that they provided when you begin to implement science storylines into your classroom. So they have readings and they have lesson plan ideas. So I have just a couple examples here of what I found. Here is just a screenshot of the resources and tools that they had provided. So they have, I know, so it's a little bit blurry, but they do have readings on teaching a phenomenon and GSS design lessons and units. They have readings on creating daily learning objectives for teachers. They also have even posters that you can use that align with the science storylines and engineering design thinking. So just a lot of different things for teachers to use in their classrooms, both for planning and then for resources for the kids as well. And on their website, they had different unit plans for varying grades. So this is a lesson for first grade students that included concepts in light and sound waves, as well as the engineering design process. So it was called "How Does Light Help Me See Things and Communicate with Others?" So this had a couple different paragraphs to read about it, but a unit explanation included this statement that I'm going to read from the website. It said, students investigate dozens of phenomena over the course of the unit, and they design multiple engineering solutions to help them uncover important pieces of the puzzle. Each piece they figure out helps them develop a model to explain their anchoring phenomena and answer their original questions. So I felt like this was important because it really went back to the metacognition part that we had talked about in Module 1, that they're going back to their previous learning and kind of discussing that along the way. So it really is that linear learning path that they're going on. So how this aligns to how students learn, it's very similar to our readings from Module 1. The Next Generation Science Storylines provide an inquiry-based learning for students, as well as their observation, imagination, and reasoning. So all of those are the components that we now know provide the best learning for students. We also talked about preconceptions a lot in our Module 1 readings, and how that's so significant to a student's learning. So with the science storylines, because the students are the one asking the questions, the educators are going to be able to identify those student preconceptions really early, and we know that that's good to help them, guide the instruction or facilitate the instruction. And then it also gives a way for students to look back on what they've learned and kind of either confirm or refute those preconceptions that they had about the science content or phenomenon that they're researching. And we learned, like I had said too, that this is also a great way for science, not just science education, but just STEM education. And that's all present in the science storylines. This aligned really well to my personal STEM perspective. So with the science storyline, students are not just finding an answer, as I've said before. They're finding ways to solve the problem at hand or a way to explain the phenomena in science. So they do this by creating their own questions, and they investigate further while looking back on how that relates or refutes to what they've learned so far. So it continues to move them throughout that learning pathway. It's not just a one-stop shop where they learn that one unit and then they move on. If they still have things that they're wondering or things that they're curious about in that concept, they're able to continue to research that and continue to look forward into that. So it really makes them motivated to learn, and they're extremely engaged in what they're doing because they are the ones that are creating these questions. It's not something that's just being told to them. I know that I also talked about how I would prefer to have the full integration of disciplines versus all of those silos, including English language arts. And I think that the science storylines could be incorporated into any subject area. So I think it would allow for that full integration of the disciplines. I also noted a couple characteristics of students that I would love to empower them with, as far as being a collaborator and a problem solver, to have them be curious about the world around them. And I definitely believe that this project would align with those characteristics that I hope to develop within my students. So I felt that this was such an awesome project, and it was something that was really interesting to learn about, and something that I'm hoping to go a little further with, so that I can implement it into my classroom as well. So why did I choose this project to review? I loved, just when I watched in the video, I loved to see the student involvement, and I loved the amount of inquiry that it involved in the classroom. I think I've said before that that was something that I did a lot more of this past year, and I'm hoping to do even more of next year. So when I saw all of that, and we know that that's a best practice for STEM education, I thought that that was awesome, and I wanted to look into it a little bit further. And I also saw a lot of that learner-centered and community-centered characteristics that we had talked about in Module 1, which of course all 4 of them were really important components for STEM education. And then I just saw the students collaborating and being respectful. You could see the students walking up in that video and taking risks, and even reading further about it. It's a lot of risk taking for students, but it's something that they need to learn how to do, and to have them be motivated in doing that and engaged in doing that, I just felt like that was an amazing thing to see. So it's something that we all kind of hope for, and which kind of takes me into my next piece of how does this inform my teaching and my learning. So I feel like there was just so much that we always talk about that we want in our classroom, and I felt like this approach to science education or even just STEM education would allow for us to have those classrooms that we really strive to have. So the ones that have the inquiry, the observation, allow students to engage in imagination and reasoning. I felt like this gave them that opportunity to do that, and it was just kind of hopeful to see that it is possible. I know a lot of times people try to play devil's advocate whenever there's a big change going through an education of all the things that are going to go wrong or why it's not going to work, but this just proved that it was something that can work and it can be done through the video and then through my research that I had as well. And also, moving forward, I do hope to implement parts of this. So the website that I was looking into proved to be a really wonderful resource moving forward, just with their readings on it, and then also all of the resources for the classroom and for planning that they had provided, I thought were really helpful. So I hope that you've enjoyed my presentation, and thank you for listening.